What's up, guys? It's Chris here doing my UFC 105 predictions. This card's a little bit under the radar, to say the least. I don't know if because UFC 106 is coming up soon, or most likely it's because it's on the same weekend as Manny Pacquiao versus Miguel Cotto. Either way, the card's for free on Spike TV, so that's always a plus. Not the most stacked lineup, but free fights. You can't really complain. And as I've said plenty of times before, usually these cards that don't look so good on paper end up being some of the more entertaining events. So that being said, let's get to it. I'm not going to do the undercard. Actually, I already shot a video for this predictions yesterday, but at the end I had put the audio of the conference call quotes I did yesterday or the other day with Swick and Kang and Hardy and Bisping. But I got to do the Couture Vera one today as well, and I just don't have time to fit all those conference call quotes on here. So I'll probably put those on a separate video in the next couple days or so. So I'm just going to do the no undercard. Don't know all the fighters. Just going to do the main card. First up, we got James Wilkes versus Matt Brown. Wilkes won his season the Ultimate Fighter in the 170 weight class. Looked pretty good there. Matt Brown, the Immortal. Matt Brown is a guy, he's coming off a destruction over Matt Serra, but he's a guy I thought the UFC kind of brought in at times. It looks like just to get someone over to get a win. But he always seems to stifle those plans. I think this is the case here as well. I think the UFC was trying to get Wilkes a win here. Should be an entertaining fight. Both guys like to stand and trade. I'm going to go with Wilkes just because for the reasons I said. I think UFC is looking to favor him up, match him up favorably. Matt Brown's a tough out. I think it'll go the distance because Brown's pretty tough. But I see Wilkes getting a decision here. Next up, Ross Pearson versus Aaron Riley. Pearson, like Wilkes, also won his weight class the Ultimate Fighter last season, 155. So these are both UK fighters as well, as are most of the fighters are. Half, one side of each, most of the matchups on this card. Pearson against Riley, Aaron Riley, that is. Riley's tough. I thought he'd look a lot better than Shane Nelson rematch last time out, but he didn't. Once again, I think they were trying to favor up Pearson, match him up favorably. Gonna go with Pearson here in decision because much like Matt Brown, Aaron Riley is tough as nails, so I think this should be another good stand-up slugfest, but I'm going to go with Pearson by decision. Next up, Dan Hardy versus Mike Swick. Good bout. Swick wins, he gets a shot at GSP. If Hardy wins, I'm not sure if he gets the shot or not. Probably depends on how impressive he looks. Swick is coming off the quick KO win over Ben Saunders. Was supposed to fight Martin Kampmann last time out, but fortunately suffered a concussion in training. Had to pull out. So it's going up against Dan Hardy, who's coming off a split decision win over Marcus Davis. Probably the best one in his career. It's a good fight. Both guys are pretty well-rounded. I think Swick's a little bit better at striking, jiu-jitsu. I'm not sure about the wrestling. Probably a little bit. Swick's definitely got more experience in the UFC. Got a better resume as far as opponents faced and beaten. Should be a good stand-up fight for the most part. Hardy's obviously got a lot to fight for. Fighting in his home country, he looked good when he did so against Roy Markham. I'm going to go with Mike Swick, though, by decision. As I said, I think he's just a little bit better at everything than Hardy. And I don't know, Hardy, well, yeah, I think Swick's a little bit better at everything. And I just think he's more well-rounded. And like I said, more seasoned in the UFC. Should be a good competitive fight, but I got Swick by decision. Co-main event, Michael Bisping versus Dennis Kang. I really like this fight. I think these are about as two as evenly matched fighters as you can get. Bisping's coming off the loss to Henderson where he just got cold cocked, basically. Kang's coming off the win over Xavier Fopapalcom. This is a good fight. These guys are pretty even in all aspects of the game. Striking, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. Kang may be a little bit better at jiu-jitsu. I'm going to go with Kang here by decision because I think he's a little bit quicker than Michael. And I think he has a little bit more, he's a little better with the kicks. I think this fight will be primarily on the feet. And I think Kang will get the better of it there. Not by a huge margin, but just enough to eke out a decision or win a points decision. Also, we don't know how Michael Bisping's going to react or come back from that last fight, that devastating loss. So hopefully the effects won't linger too much. But although I do think this will be a close, very competitive fight, I do favor Dennis Kang by decision in what should be, a really entertaining fight. Main event, Randy Couture versus Brandon Vera. Randy's dropping back down to light heavyweight for the first time in 3 years. He's coming off that loss to Nogueira. Really good fight, but Nogueira clearly won. You know, Randy is 46 years old now. He may be slowing down. I don't know. This fight will probably be a good indication of whether that's the case or not. Brandon Vera is coming off that win over Krzysztof Szynski. Good win. Not the most impressive performance, but a good win nonetheless. Brandon hasn't looked as explosive since moving down to light heavyweight. I don't know if it's just the weight cut or he's just not as powerful at this weight. But whatever the case, he hasn't looked as dynamic at this weight as he has at heavyweight. But he has secured a couple of good wins. As for the fight, you know, I favor Brandon. I favor youth. I actually think this might look like Brandon's win over Krzysztof Szynski. Not that I'm trying to say Randy Couture and Szynski are the same. You know, obviously Randy's a much better fighter. But Szynski was just a step slower and couldn't catch up to Brandon on the feet. And I think that's what Brandon's going to look to do here. Especially after listening to the conference call this morning. He's definitely looking to keep it on the feet, keep the distance. I think he's going to be able to do that. I think Brandon's going to be a step slower. I don't think he's going to be able to really catch up with Brandon. I think Brandon's probably going to work in a lot of good leg kicks effectively. And just play a kind of a safe points victory. I think Brandon's going to mix some punches here and there, but I don't think he's going to get into too many real serious exchanges. You know, just kind of play it safe and get a win here because it would be a very big win for Brandon. Probably the biggest of his career at this point. As for Randy, to win this fight, he's just got to do what he always does. Try to get in there, try to get that clinch, work in that dirty boxing, work his Greco-Roman wrestling to his advantage. Brandon has Brandon's got some Greco-Roman history himself, so he's pretty good in that, versed in that area as well, but not as good as Randy. If Randy can get Brandon against the cage, I think he can work him over pretty well there, standing or on the ground. Obviously, if he can get Brandon down, he's got a huge advantage from the top. Brandon is good at jiu-jitsu, but I don't think Randy's going to call it the submission anytime soon. And I think he could work some good ground and pound there with some forearms and punches. However, as I said, I just don't think he's going to be able to do that enough or catch up with Brandon enough. I really think this is Brandon's fight to lose. No disrespect to Randy. He's a great fighter. But, I just think it's more Brandon's time at this point. And I do think that Randy, I asked him about this on the conference call. He just fought. They both fought on the last card, but Randy definitely had a lot tougher fight. I just don't know if his body's had enough time to really fully recover and jump into a training camp and be 100%. He says he's ready to go, but I don't know. We'll see how he reacts in there, how physically he responds, but I just don't think he's had enough time off in between fights to fully recover from that tough Nogueira war and be fully peaked for this fight. Whereas Vera had a pretty easy time against Szynski for the most part, so training camp shouldn't have been as hard for him. So I'm going to go with Brandon by decision. Hopefully it'll be a pretty good fight. Randy Couture's fights, win or lose, usually seem to be pretty damn epic. They just seem to be events whenever Randy's main eventing on the card. So looking forward to it. Like I said, free event, so we're all winners in the end. I'll probably be back on Sunday to give my thoughts afterwards. Check out the website, thewoodsbloodfightshow.com. Put the link over in the information part. As I said previously, I'm also on Twitter. I'll put that link up here. Pretty much just putting thoughts on the fights as I watch them or keep people posted on things I posted on the website, which I just did yesterday, as a matter of fact. So check those out if you're interested. And like I said, I'll probably post a video in the next couple days or so with the conference call and the questions I got to ask these fighters and their responses. So until next time, y'all, I'm out of here. Enjoy the fights. Bye.